Ladies and gentlemen, it's your man, Coach Young. We are here at the Young Intellects podcast. And when I tell you, I am super excited. Number one, because we just started summer vacation. Put your hands on that, please and thank you. And it is no short of the excitement that I have for we're starting the summer series, and the summer series is going to be the evidence of excellence. Yeah, I know y'all like that, evidence of excellence. And so I have a very astute guest on this evening. He's not just a guest, but he is a husband. He's a father. He's an author. He is a master teacher, an educator, a consultant. He's a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. But more than that, he is my big brother. I don't even know if he knows this. I consider him my mentor. He's just one of my closest friends that I look up to. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Christopher Todd Sanders.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
I'm doing well.
You doing well?
Well, man. I think it's sunny here in Central Ohio.
Okay, then.
If it was a gloomy day, almost I would go out on a limb and say that, man, if it was inclement weather, it was a great day, not just because the scripture says this is the day that the Lord has made. Also, man, the summer is on. There isn't an educator that's not at the movies, staying up late.
Look, what you say?
They downtown at the park listening to the music.
Man,
is our getting up time. So I'm excited about that as well.
Really, man. So you enjoy the summer? What's your favorite season?
Ooh, favorite season. Wow.
Yeah.
I think I like the fall the most.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because it's not really hot. It's not cold yet, but a lot of the sports is what I love. You'll the end of the residue of the Olympics, if we were in it. People are hyped from the Summer Olympics going into the fall. We got the crack of football season, NFL, college.
Yeah.
I'm still in tune with youngsters on the high school level, college.
Yeah.
Even my son's friends play pro football.
Wow.
So I follow them as well. Fall is a very nice time. It's the beginning. It is it's the third quarter of the of the calendar year.
Yeah.
The first quarter of the school's fiscal year.
Yeah.
Well, kids are coming in. So it's really a newness, if you will.
Yeah.
From my perspective. And I've always enjoyed it, man.
Man, look, fall is my favorite season. Timberland boots, sweaters, hoodies, all of those things, yes, man. Sir. Come on now. So, Chris, I need you to do me a favor, man. Ask me how I'm doing.
Well, there is one question I need to ask you because it's burning, it's pressing.
Okay.
How are you doing, man? Tell me.
Man, I'm so glad. I didn't see that question coming, man. Yeah, you caught me off guard a little bit. Because I know, and let me just clarify to all of you all who are joining us and watching this conversation and engaging in it, this is a safe place. And because I trust my brother so well, I'm going to tell him the truth. Because, in Western society, we have little, nonsensical phrases that we'll use, and we'll say, hey, how you doing? And we really don't mean it. It's just like kind of polite to do. It's, greetings and salutations. But since you asked me, man, this past semester was probably one of my most difficult semesters. It was in my assignment. This is what I believe for me, my purpose, my assignment. I'm called to an educational mission field. I believe I've been in this space. I'm becoming aware of this now. This is year 26. I've been in this space and in this field, serving students and families and all of these things. But this year, I think just this last little, I don't know, probably 97 days or so, it's been difficult, man. Because I understand my assignment and calling to young men and families. One of the most challenging spaces that young men, I believe, can be in is if it's been death or the death of a parent or, imprisonment, incarceration. And I've experienced that. It's been mental health or any of those challenges. And so young men that they still are and were my students, man, I've experienced every last bit of the most difficult days that any human being can experience. 2 out of 3 of my students were, one accidentally was in a tragic shooting, lost his life. Another one was incarcerated, and the other one is stuck in the space in this valley of decisions that the decisions that he keeps making are not the best for him. I mean, they're at a huge detriment to his life. And so I've been reflecting, man, now, and I've really been taking advantage of the spaces. And I appreciate you because I know when you ask me, you really mean it. And I think as a human being, not just as an educator or a person, we need spaces like this that I can be honest and tell the truth. I was struggling, not because I don't think I'm not having a savior complex. It was just that these young men that I was working with every single day, man, they were not making the best choices or decisions. And I think for lack of any great grandiose words, man, my feelings was hurt. I was sad and angry and upset. And so not that I'm trying to make this all dreary and weary. I just want to be honest and transparent in this space that we get to be in. And I know, I'm confident that you can handle my honesty. You can handle the scars. It was, we were able to get through it. Graduation was amazing because I had a young man for the last 2 years that had been in these same spaces, but he walked across the stage, man. And so I got to have a little bit of my heart smile with that. But man, I'm going to just be honest, bro. It has been a trying time this last semester. And so, help me, man. What you knowing me as an educator, as a counselor, as a school administrator, what's your first response to when you hear someone say something like that to you?
Well, as you were sharing, the first things I thought about were the challenges that I've seen, mostly, or I should say in particular, the lower moments. I too have seen students not make it through the summer, or not make it over the weekend. And it's a different kind of a pull on you. And it's really not to be insensitive to anybody, but I do think that there is a unique kind of relationship that we have with our students. In a lot of ways, they become our children, our sons and daughters. Not all of them as close, but we share in their triumphs, are with them in the agony of defeat, or we are sometimes bystanders and feel helpless when decisions are made that we know adversely affect them. In this case, an eternal choice, it sounds like, was made. And I feel for you, man, because we go through that so often. And I'm grateful that there has risen an awareness to even support teachers in terms of mental health and wellness, because there are some times that that we realize that as rubber bands, we don't have the elasticity, or we're not able to bounce back as quickly. And the sobering thing is, in moments like this, like, man, I'm human too. You can't avoid it. But at the same time, the other side of that coin is, I would rather take that and have experience these kind of moments than some of the extreme opposites that I've seen in school, where many teachers are gathered in the hallway, the office, and we're consoling each other about a tragic situation. Maybe it's in the housing of one of our students, and we know, look, this could forever impact them, or whatever the circumstances they're experiencing, and many staff members are feeling it. And the extreme is, I've seen it where one person who is not as connected to students, come in, punch in, put in their code, say excuse me, run their copies, and they, and almost as if they are aloof, and don't have the emotional chains to connect them. So I would rather be in a place where I feel even the hard moments, opposed to not feeling anything at all. But I'm glad you shared that with me, with us, the community. So I don't know what to think about, what to pray about for you and all of us, man, because things like that do happen, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Man, I appreciate you. And I know I can trust you in this space. All of the feelings or the emotions that I've been feeling, it brought me back to a place of, I grew up in Massillon, Ohio. TIG. That's right. My Tigers in the building.
Yeah.
And
state champs in basketball too.
Yeah. I remember you telling me we won that, and a couple of years ago we won the state title in football too. Yeah, we winners over there. I don't know if y'all knew anything about them Tigers, but it took me this space is so amazing. What I find is I remember going back to my freshman year in high school. My students that I this past semester that just had this impact on me, they were all freshmen. So my own emotions and my emotive response took me right back to my freshman year. I would never forget. We were doing 2-a-days, man, and I was on the field 2-a-days, and one of my coaches come and tap me on my shoulder, man. I'm like, what's going on, coach? What you need, man? I'm here. I'm ready. And when a boy is born in Massillon, the boosters come to the hospital and give them their football. And so my entire existence up until my freshman year, this is all I've been waiting for.
Yeah, sure.
You become, once you made the team, you're a superstar, at least for the next 3 to 4 years, man. And one of my coaches tapped me on the shoulder and was like, during 2-a-days, he said, yeah, man, you had this earth science class, physical science class. I don't know, bro. It was a science class, I know. And he was like, yeah, man, you failed the class, so this makes you ineligible.
He told you that on the football field?
On the field.
Oh, snap.
My world was devastated. As soon as he told me, like, I had to get off the field, I walked about 3 miles from the high school down to my junior high school, Longfellow, the Longfellow Poets. I went to find Mr. Irely. Mr. Irely, if you were still alive, I was looking for you, bro. I remember. Yeah. And I was devastated, man. And so I remember having that experience, and it just took me back to being a young child, innocent. So I'm why are you sharing this, Coach? And what does this have to do with anything? Chris, you are all of these things. You're an author. You are a master teacher and educator, and now growing into you're a consultant. And you were what were you, Mr. Kentucky State? Huge shout out right there. You were a student athlete. You had all of these experiences, but I want you to share with us, man, because you talked to me before about you remembering this space when you were a student and you were struggling in some of your subjects. Talk to me about, and we'll get to all those excellences and all those spaces where you've where you succeeded. But talk to me about Christopher, the teenager, the one that was developing and growing in school. Tell us about who he was and what his struggles were.
Well, they weren't like they are now. That's for sure. Oftentimes I can go in places, and now I'm one of the first to be considered. Even my position that I hold now at the time of this recording, was recruited from Georgia to take this position.
Wow.
I've been in those places for a number of years where I'm one of the first ones considered. I'm at the top of lists, and so, you know, on and on. But I can remember there was not a glorious day as I've experienced now. And it's always interesting to me because it's so vivid. I can remember, if I think on it or if I talk about it long enough, I can almost get emotional as if I'm still in the moment.
Wow.
And I've shared with my wife before some of those experiences, and she is just like, no way. I mean, I can't relate. I'm like, listen, baby, I had a hard time. But I do remember even before my high school years or teenage years, struggling in as early as elementary school, where I was just not a very good reader. I can recall being analytically astute. I could always, you know, I could whiz through some math. And I'm sure there were others that were stronger than me, but I was not, quote unquote, behind in mathematics.
Okay.
I knew I couldn't read. And back then we didn't call it ELA, English Language Arts, you know. Back then it was just reading and writing. I knew I could not read. And as a result, my writing reflected that I wasn't a good speller. I didn't have a good feel for the flow of language on paper and expressing ideas with details. One time I remember being called upon to read, and the teacher kind of set the stage with everybody and was shushing the class to get everybody quiet, shh. Chris is about to read, as if it were about to be a comedy show. Now, it was Glenwood Elementary in Toledo, Ohio. It wasn't the Funny Bone. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the laugh comedy out in LA or whatever. This was a regular elementary classroom, and I felt like I was the brunt. I caught the brunt of the joke. I also remember particularly an incident where I was in bed and very distraught and crying, probably was even praying, wanting to be better at reading. And as I laid on my side, I can remember the tear crossing one eye, coming out of an eye, crossing the bridge of my nose into the other eye. And, you know, I'm picking my eye or whatever, but I remember the moments. I remember the feelings, how it made me feel. I remember my mechanisms to deflect. Usually it was comedy or being silly or distracting in class.
Yeah.
I just wasn't successful in that area. And of course, things turned as I had gotten older, but it wasn't until deep into high school and after, once I'd gotten into college, that I really learned how to learn. But I didn't. It wasn't a 35-0 shutout where I was the winner in academics. Not all my life, man. And because of that, I can relate to students as I'm their teacher, or whether I'm their mentor, whether I'm a coach. I'm coaching teachers as they are providing instruction for their students. Whether I'm the principal, whether I'm coaching principals, it doesn't matter. I can relate to a student struggling. And it's unique as well because oftentimes, and I mentioned more so of the behavior, but now as I've gotten into education as deep as I have, I've realized that the misbehavior doesn't always mean a student is not doing well in school. It doesn't always mean he or she can't read. He or she doesn't know the content. He or she is not on a level to demonstrate mastery. There's sometimes, man, I've realized that as teachers, the way in which we present things is so aloof, banal, boring. It sucks. That kids are like, man, I know this. I might as well sneak out my phone because I know all of the stuff that he's about to say. And so sometimes you'll see the same type of behavior, the talking out loud, the distractions, the cracking of jokes, wanting to leave, sharpening the same pencil 45 times. So the expression of not being engaged in class could come from a number of reasons. Mine was because, I had so many deficits, but it wasn't until about 16, 17 that things began to change. And I just want to say to all of them, man, it's real out there. And I hope all of the parents stay strong and vigilant to help these out. But I did not have I wasn't successful as a younger student.
Wow, man, I appreciate you sharing that. Man, you are such a provocateur. 8th grade, Miss Calabrese's class, the first and last spelling bee I was in, CASEL, ding down. I missed the T, man. I missed the T, and I remember, man, I'm telling all my business tonight. You came to me one time as a grown man, and I can only imagine because no other man has really ever done this. You came to me and was like, "Hey, man, you play too much," and you called me out, and I was like, "Man,
I remember." Yeah,
I was mesmerized.
It wasn't funny then.
Yeah, you laughing now, but you hit. So you provoked me to think about these things. That what was my distraction? What was my go-to? Humor was my go-to. Yeah. I was severely insecure. I was short. I was chunky. So I had to make fun of myself before you got to me.
Right.
And then I hit you with a couple of little jabs. Your grandma bought all that, and so I had
a way of taking away the sting. If I beat you to the punch, it wasn't as funny.
Right. I do better at myself. Right. Tearing myself down. And so, but it's amazing that I carried that on into my adult life. And all of these things, these behaviors, these mannerisms, these patterns these habits that I created as my own internal culture and climate and lifestyle, it became a part of me. And until someone, you always need somebody in your life to love you enough to tell you the truth. Whether you got a booger in your nose, or you zip it down, or you need a mint. Never refuse a mint. By the way, anybody ever listening, don't refuse a mint. If somebody offer you a mint, just go ahead and yield to that. But so what I'm saying. What are you talking about, Coach? I'm thinking about these spaces in my life where I distracted, and there wasn't this engagement. There was a disconnect. There was a space or a gulf between me and an adult where I could trust, where someone would come up to me and say, "Hey, man, I see something in you more than what you're presenting."
Yeah.
You and I both, we're both being transparent, and we're sharing about these areas where we were developing in. Talk to us. I want to hear your definition of engagement, because I just feel like, I believe that word, for so many of us who have this calling of education, I'm not for sure if we have the tangible, practical astuteness about what this is. I know I was needing it, and you saw something in me, and you engaged me, not just as a young man, but and by the way, I full circle tonight. I used to be a student, still am. And so, talk to us, man. I want to hear your understanding of what you believe engagement is.
Wow, that's a loaded question. I'll say as succinctly as I can that engagement has to do with where it refers to the degree of attention, curiosity, interest, passion a student shows while learning. And it can be done in a number of ways. A student can have 9 out of the 10 answers incorrect, but be engaged. And I know that that is sobering for many, but I believe that is true. And now it would require the adult to identify that the student was not, his responses were not correct, they were not accurate, weren't in line with what we're actually teaching and learning. But if a student is engaged, they're curious, they're interested, you've got the raw elements of engagement, because engagement has to have some additional components. It should be a time where students are grappling and trying to process and make sense of the content that they're being taught. Whether it's okay, so let's apply that theory to this set of numbers, or since that is the conflict that's in the story, can anybody else think of man versus man conflict that you may have experienced? So you get them to really internalize the lesson, internalize the content, and make those life applications. So when you think about it that way, you've got to consider that maybe filling out a form or filling out a worksheet, maybe it's not as engaging. You really got to consider that. So that's kind of like my basic premise, engagement. And I would also add again that there are a number of reasons why students are disengaged.
Okay.
And you have to be careful and really, collect data and analyze that, just like we talk about so often now, data-driven instruction. Well, as we're interacting with students, we need to collect data on their engagement, their level of readiness. Hey, you guys, this is about a 40-minute lesson out of 50 minutes. How many of you all kind of looking forward to the weekend, to the game tonight, and you almost really checked out right now? Mr. Sanders, we can leave right. Okay. Well, look, we're going to go through this lesson. And, I barter a deal. Look, what we're going to do is X, Y, and Z. I need you all with me. So sometimes the disengagement may be because they're interested in other things, or maybe the girls and interested in the guys in class, or vice versa, or there's a big game, or I just don't understand this content, or I'm in the wrong class. This class is on a level beneath me. So there are a number of reasons. So we have to do our due diligence in making sure we ascertain those key indicators that tell us where a student is. And then that's the roadmap for us to begin getting them engaged.
Yeah. I was looking at this legal reel the other day, and a gentleman was talking about, he used this legal terminology, the burden of proof. The burden of proof, in principle, it simply states that whoever the person is in question, you have the responsibility to prove that there's evidence of a thing. And you talk so poignantly about this idea of engagement, of teacher-student engagement. I love your just your memories, the moments. I want you to talk to me, or not just to us in this community. You've been a BT before. You've been a beginner teacher. What has been your experience as you've been the student? You've been the space where you were developing, and now you got some success behind you, but now you're going into this new space as a brand new teacher. What was your evidence of engaging just as a teacher? I don't know, maybe you were a younger teacher and you had older teachers or vets. What was the engagement like there between from colleague to colleague, or dare I even say from teacher to administrator? Talk to us about that type of engagement.
Oh, you mean the relationships with the adults?
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate when I started at Vandenberg Elementary at Hubble and 8 Mile area of Detroit.
Shout out to Hubble. I used to live on Hubble. I'm sorry.
All right. It's bringing back. It's kind of nostalgic, huh? Hear you. Look, so the school that I started my career in is currently the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy.
Wow.
So he and his organization has purchased a school, and they're doing some miraculous things in the lives of students. Well, when I had began in the mid 90s, I remember seeing a poster in the teacher's lounge.
Okay.
And which is a place that first year teacher ought not hang out, but that's enough story. We'll talk about that next time. No. But I'm hanging in the teacher's lounge during lunch. I'm enjoying the chatter. And I just had the nerve to say, why do I have a dash by my name? And one teacher boldly told me, because you ain't got no years yet.
Wow.
The dash was because as a first year teacher, you've just got days, you've got weeks, you've got months. You don't have years behind you. So as I looked at it again, the next person who became a co-teacher of mine for the grade level that we had taught later on, I noticed that she was the next lowest on the seniority list. In a union town like Detroit, Detroit Federation of Teachers, we were union down, player.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Seniority meant something. And so it had to be made public.
Yeah.
I was enamored because I began to think about the number of teachers that were in the building that had 3 years.
Wow.
5, 7, 10. There were none. I was the youngest teacher with not even a year under my belt, and the next level was 17 years. So I said that because I was under the tutelage of a lot of senior, well-established, well-accomplished educators. They knew the curriculum. They knew the students. They knew the district. They knew the personnel. And so it is a different thing to be under the tutelage of those kinds of colleagues. And then I had an exceptional principal by the name of Shirley Daggs Monroe. But I bring it up that way because not only were they willing to kind of sow into my life and really lead me on some things and in some areas, I also learned in time that a lot was bestowed upon me in being willing to be accountable to them.
Yeah.
You know, when you can get over and it looked like ain't nobody around, you know, I call it in the booth, in the back, and in the dark. You know, where ain't nobody looking, very few people can see if they can see. Where's your character? And I remember not really being on my post that morning. And somebody came down the stairs and was like, Mr. Sanders. And I come from, you know, leaning against the wall, come out to the door and say, oh, okay, because you're usually there, and just walk right on by. She knew that I was supposed to be on that post. And when she came down the stairs and passed the door and didn't see me, she was like, hey, player, are you even here? I was like, yeah, I'm here. You know, she said, oh, okay. And then walked right past me. But that's a different kind of a relationship, one that is going to hold someone accountable.
Yeah.
One willing to be held accountable. I remember I made some novice first year mistakes, and one of the decisions that Mrs. Monroe had made was to share some of my assessments and some of my work that was going home that I had to share it with another teacher before, and they had to sign off on it. But it wasn't like I couldn't spell. You know, I'm certified too. But there were things that my inexperienced, untrained eye had missed. And so someone that was a little bit more seasoned was my safety net so that I wouldn't look unprofessional when I sent things home to parents. And some of it was just as simple as, Mr. Sanders, you want to hand these out when you get to the car line. don't send this home. Don't pass these out and let kids put them in their book bag. You give it to the parents. Well, I didn't know those types of things. So it could have been as small as that, or it could have been some real live wire conversations that I had to have with parents. But the relationships that I had back then played a huge part in my first 5 to 7 to even 10 years. And that really laid the groundwork for me to have been afforded some of the opportunities that I have, whether it was back in the day being flown from Detroit Public Schools out to New York for a No Child Left Behind conference, and being selected for 2 years to be a part of the Next Generation Science Standards Development. It was 27, 28 of us. Well, those are some privileged opportunities that were given to me, and I would attribute them to the relationships that I had early in my career and how they really smoothed the rough edges off and really cut my teeth on those areas that I was just a little green in,
Yeah. Wow. You said something and it just provoked a thought in mind. I was talking with Solomon, my youngest son, earlier. Huge shout out to Solomon. What's up, man? He's probably watching this. And we were talking about something, and not just something. We were talking about uncomfortable conversations. And Solomon is growing into his prime with his college football career, and he's experienced the transfer portal, and he's experienced doing all of these things. And so I was, having that dad to son, father to son conversation. I was like, hey, man, you're going to have to go ahead and speak up and say this. And he was like, kind of, not wanting to deal with that thing that he had to deal with. And so I remember telling him, I said, man, there's a cycle. When you wash your clothes, since he's been home from school, he's been washing clothes like crazy. And I said, bro, you washing a bunch of clothes. I said, I'm cool with that. That's what it's for. But, there's a cycle in there that almost anyone probably doesn't want to deal with. And he was like, what is it? I said, it's called agitation. I said, in order to get clean, man, you have to go through this cycle. And so I bring that up because I'm reminded, you use this another A word, the accountability. Sometimes it can agitate some things that may not, it won't feel good. You have to have these uncomfortable conversations, whether somebody softly checking me about where am I supposed to be at on my duty, or, hey, man, we do it this way, not that way, or trying to bring in a maverick. I'm very curious. How did you deal with accountability conversations with parents?
Wow. Those were tough. Were tough. Not all, but those were tough in the sense that before I had one, I learned to prepare I learned to prepare to have one. And I did that by really watching them. I did that by forming relationships early. Mr. Adams, how you doing, sir? Speaking to the moms as they drop students off, getting to know, okay, so this is grandparent, this is the maternal grandmother. Okay. And just really understand their style, their parenting style, where they're coming from, and then cater my unique messaging to them because the message is the same. I often said to my children that because I did not always allow them to be influenced or be around a whole lot of adults, even though I know a lot of people. When they got older, I said, look, I ain't take you to everybody's house, right. But as they got older, they could handle me telling them, I always expose you to people that would give you the same message, just would say it differently.
Wow.
All of my friends would give you almost the same advice that I'd give you. They're just going to say it their way, and I knew my children needed that. But at any rate, when we talk with parents, grandparents, caregivers, because it wasn't always a a parent or grandparent. Sometimes it was an older sibling. And so the approach that I had was to make sure they understood that I wanted the best for that student. Regardless of how it sounds, I wanted the best. And there were times that I took advantage of moments where a student is having a cheerleading contest, and I just ask, hey, so what time is it? What time do you all perform? And I would get over there. And I would make sure that those girls heard me. Let's go. And I'm thinking in my mind, all that cheering you doing in the cafeteria and in my class, I better hear it this time, So I'm cheering or whatever, and usually crowds have pockets cheering for those students. And so to hear this loud, deep voice, that's amazing. I'm sure family was like, who is that over there? And they went, oh, that's Mr. Sanders. I'd come over, wave or whatever. And that was me building my currency for them to understand that I mean business when I talk about being in the lives of your students and making sure they, they mature and they're able to produce their best. So when we did have those sticky moments, I relied on my past engagement with them and the character that I had, even though it was there were some hard topics. I've had to deal with the topics of a student being retained.
Wow.
And there's a battery of things that I would think about as we had the conversation, even before we got there. But I would say the number one thing that I would do in having those conversations was I would lean on facts, the evidence, the data, the scores, or the actual incident. If it was like a fight or something, investigation was taking place. But I would also equally lean on the relationships that I had with parents and them seeing me walk in integrity. I can give you a response that you don't want to hear. But I believed as a parent, if my parents knew that I was going to be objective and I was going to be fair, it would be an easier conversation to have.
Wow. I was just looking at a reel the other day, and I don't know, it was a family that was filming a school administrator having to have a retention conversation with seniors. And a part of the conversation, she, just as you eloquently laid out the burden of proof, she said, you missed over 85% of the school days this semester and the assignments. And they begin to respond with honest emotion and, hey, look what you're doing to our family. And we got family coming here. And it was just such a master class of accountability. It wasn't out of disrespect, but we took it to facts. And even this administrator knew how to respond in the space of emotion. And, I remember when I first sat in your class, I was a construction worker. True story. I worked for Wayne County Road Commission. I sure did.
That's here.
I sure did. We salted the roads. We did all of these things. And one thing I love that construction work. And one thing that it taught me, because we live in a very fanciful and very phenomenal space now, the building that we are in, and they got smart homes now and smartphones and all of these things. They look very expensive and amazing. But what I found out, Chris, is that the most expensive things when it comes to building anything, they're never seen. It's the cement, it's the rebarb, it's the concrete, it's all of these pieces of foundation. I remember one day going to where we had different types of assignments, and today we was going to do some mason work. And because I was young, I didn't grab my gloves, and so I grabbed 2 bricks and I clapped them together and pinched my hand and grew a blister. And I know y'all like, what in the world what are you talking about? You have developed a framework that I am convinced that every educator, if you're listening at this, I need you to lean in a little bit. What you're about to get just a little snippet of, we ain't gonna give you everything, but you have this space this framework. You have this this space that you are. I want you to touch on it a little bit, because I believe it's called BRIC. Am I saying that correctly?
That's correct. Yep, BRIC. It is the BRIC framework that I've developed over a number of years through trial and error, through successes, after seeing, successful things going on in students' lives. You want to capture the evidence. You want to identify trends and patterns. And I boiled it down to a couple of areas, and I call it the BRIC framework. B stands for build. R stands for relationships. I stands for intellect. That's the academic piece. And then C stands for competence. There's no K, just BRICK, BRIC framework.
Wow.
And I believe wholeheartedly that just as in the Tyler Perry movies, in plays, the backdrop, the scenery sets everything up. If there's a romantic wedding scene and the backdrop is the corner of 45th and Moncrief in Jacksonville, Florida. Well, it might not seem as romantic, or Mac and B. Wick in Detroit. It may not seem that way. So the backdrop, the setting of building relationships, building intellect, building capacity. And I stress building first because what I've learned is the mindset that we have as educators, and rightfully so, is that students should come with the prerequisites that are, quite frankly, I guess for the lack of better words, that are required to be in that class. Well, all too often, I've seen how students are coming with less and less of the prerequisites.
Wow.
Students just don't know certain things that they should have gotten a grade or two before.
Yeah.
And the reality that I was forced to inherit is they still in my class.
Yeah.
I can't run them off, So what am I going to do for this student that knows almost nothing about the water cycle?
Yeah.
And here we are in biology, high school biology, whether a student is advanced and taking it in 8th grade, or taking it in high school. When we start talking about the properties of water, this kid, man, they're struggling. What do you do? Well, to have the BRIC framework in mind, it lets you know that the awareness to build students has to be present. So what build is in everything, whether you're building relationships with students, building their intellect, whether you're building their capacity, their soft skills, those types of things. And what I've come to understand is those make a huge difference. I don't know if you can remember the old school movie. It was called A Piece of the Action.
A Piece of the Action.
A Piece of the Action. A Piece of the Action. It was with Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier.
Come on now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the storyline was because of some criminal activity in their past, had some, questionable legalities. There was a detective that basically blackmailed them and told them, look, I know what you've done. So to make it right, you're going to donate your time to this community center and help these young students out.
Wow.
One of the trips that they took, did a field trip, and one student or two students were charged with getting the directions and address of a fictitious place. The Terrell M. Young Municipal Building.
Yes, sir.
And then they had another two students that were charged to do the same thing. You need to ask for directions to get upstairs to a particular office and get your cigarette lit. One of each of those scenarios, the student walked up with swag and ghetto and bravado and all of this.
Yeah.
And it turned off the person they were trying to get information from.
Wow.
And then with coaching, they focused on proper speech, the being approachable, being polite, those types of things. And each of those students got what they wanted. There was no such thing as the Terrell M. Young Municipal Building, but the person was willing to give them time, give them their job. So when we talk about the capacity, it does include things like soft skills. Now, yeah. Could you have gotten that information? Could you have gotten it without saying, "Look, chick, just come over here and get"? Oh, no, but you're mad that she said no. Could you have just said, "Ma'am, if it's not too much, I just want to know if you would be willing to hold the door open a few more seconds, be a little bit more inclined," and you'd walk away with what you wanted. And so there were ebbs and flows. There's ebbs and flows in that. And it can be capacities that are just in terms of communicating. I was assistant basketball coach. One of the things that we saw was students. Our basketball team had to email or had to CC me or the head coach in corresponding with their teachers, and I was flabbergasted to see things like, "You gonna change my grade? No period, no capital letters, no salutation, no sincerely Terrell, none of that." What in the world is going on? So I wrote down, I think it was like 25 templates. 3 are if you're inquiring about your grade, or you did it in assignment, you need that to be that score to be added to your grade card because your grades, because right now you're ineligible for the week to play, or you're requesting a meeting with your parents. Those are times that we had to build capacity in students in order for them to cross the line, get what they want. I'm just saying, when the BRIC framework is in place, building relationships, building intellect. I used to give surveys. Hey, now that we're done with this unit, what lessons did you really like? And I got those responses that you got. Like, "Mr. Sanders, you talk too much, man. We need more lab time. You take up all the lab time we can get." Okay. But that was when I found out that they liked, this was years ago, they liked, instead of doing my exit slip on paper, they wanted to do it. Let us put it on the website. I'm like,
really?
It was okay. So in the comments, they were answering the question. So I'd post the question, they would do it. And I remember the first time I'd done it, Terrell. Man, you get your exit tickets back. It's 25 students. I know I passed out 25. I'm standing at the door. Look, Dennis, come back here. He's running down the hall, didn't turn it in. Man, first time I gave an exit ticket, and it was on my classroom website. Man, I had everybody in this one particular class, everybody participated. They were plugged into the cell phones. They're into technology. So building relationships, building intellect, building capacity, it goes a long way as the backdrop before I even get to teaching. So I think if that's in place, you're going to see a world of a difference. At least for the last 12 years that I've put this in place, some way, shape, or form, we've done that. In fact, the school that I'm leaving after, when I gotten the job, I didn't know when I agreed to it, which I'm still a little upset about. We were on the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce's list of school closures. Why that? I mean, like, man, how come nobody told me that the school was on the school closure list? That's another one of them stories. We'll talk about that later.
Wow.
But we had gone, in just 3 years, had gone from being on the list to being off the list, our scores rising. And this past year, we were able to experience our math proficiency average was higher than the state average in elementary school.
Wow.
No way,
wow,
shape, or form do I take all the credit, but I do know that by building relationships, by building the intellect, by building the capacity, we've been able to do what we do.
Man, I needed you in 8th grade when I failed that science. I needed something from you then. I
don't
probably
know,
would have
man.
been able to be eligible.
I don't know, man. You sound like back in those days, you would have put Richard Pryor and you put Bernie Mac. They'd have been in the back, not wanting to come out. You're a brother, man. So I don't know.
Look, man. Her name is Miss Brenda Robinson, college biology. When I got there, she said, Terrell, shut up. You ain't got time to talk. So she knew about my conversations, and it grew to my students saying, Mr. Young, you use too many words. And so I believe, I hope, teachers, people, parents, students, I hope y'all are leaning into this. You guys are getting a master class. This brick framework, I tell you, man, I've been given the charge and honor to walk alongside teachers and students and families. And when I hear you talk about this amazing, engaging framework, man, I think about, man, if I had a Mr. Sanders back then, or if we had this foundational piece, any building that their foundation isn't together, man, immediately, I don't care if it's in Dubai, Canada, Australia, if your foundation isn't together, it's automatically condemned.
They're going to shut it down, right? I don't care if the water does work. Yeah,
right now, all the iPads could work. Everything it could be Google's building, Facebook's building, Instagram, whatever. If your foundation is not solid and together, it's automatically condemned. And so when I hear you talk, it's just fitting for the individual that you are, and for you have this gifting and this God idea to present it, and now it becomes alive, and it's this framework. I am excited to see. So when you all are seeing this, I want you all to make sure that you are grabbing a hold and getting in contact with Mr. Sanders so that you can get a good, solid foundation. I believe y'all better get him now before his calendar fills up, and I just anticipate that's going to happen real soon. But listen, before we get out of here, man, I really, and I appreciate you again so much for taking the time to have this conversation. You talked me through, and we talked about our pain, we talked about our process, our purpose, and now the impact that you've had, not just on the lives of your students, but even on my life. My family's life has become better because of our relationship, because of the brick work that you've done in my life. And so now I want to challenge you with something, man. I want you to speak to some school leaders, some school administrators. I think there's always been, and I think we were talking the other day, there's been somewhat of a chasm, somewhat of just some ambiguity, some miss between school leaders and teachers, and sometimes that relationship between school leaders and parents, and they have these different responsibilities. But you've weathered the storm in every last one of those seats, from a student who struggled with reading to a beginning teacher that's surrounded by veterans, and in some type of way you went through that agitation and accountability, and now you were a school leader, and now you developed this framework. And so now in your legacy stage as a consultant, as someone who's coming to walk alongside, I want you to speak to some administrators who may be struggling or may not understand. Down here, man, we've had a lot of challenges, and individuals are ending their profession in teaching. And there may be someone that's considering the space to say, I don't have it, I don't think, I don't know. And I believe you have just some insight that they may not be aware of. Could you speak to some school leaders now, man? Something that you believe over your tenure, if you had a Chris Sanders, or if you had someone, what is it that you know that they need to hear, or that they need to know or apply? Speak to them for us, please.
Sure. I guess a natural example that I have is with plants, foliage. And it's amazing to me how when there's a drought, the roots of plants, even though we can't see it, continue to go and grow, and they extend in their search for water. And you would think at times that there's no water, and of course there are times where it's just so dry that there is no vegetation. But when you look in my yard, I've cleaned it up. We've cleaned the woods or nearby areas, and it would seem like there's no way for that plant to grow. And within a couple of days, it grows again. I believe that there are a lot of people that think, man, there's nothing good coming out of this school, or there's nothing that's going to grow from this. But just like in the natural, there's a hunt, a desire, a fight to survive. I would say to that person to stay in the fight. Just as there are circumstances that have come up because we're still experiencing the impact of COVID. I just was speaking in a conference and was talking with some people, letting them know or just sharing how for our current fourth graders, when COVID hit, they began school. They were at the beginning of their school years. Actually, COVID hit, and they weren't even school age. And all of their academic career so far, maybe even fifth grade, has been post-COVID.
Wow.
And so there's a new way to provide instruction and to teach. There are new problems that are coming up. There are new idiosyncrasies that we've never seen before. But you can solve those problems. But when I talk to my staff and say, hey, whatever it is, the solution's in the room. You can't tell me that we've got $1.5 million in tuition that have been paid. All these folk in here certified, and we can't come up with a solution. You can find a solution. And if you would consider whether you want to adopt my brick framework or not, but if you could just consider the rationale behind it of forming relationships, building the intellect, building the capacity, things can change. In fact, I'm inspired because what I've seen is the success that we've had at my school and in the lives of students has caused more people to ask questions. Man, how in the world? You remember Charles? Yeah, little Charles. Man, Charles is rocking it out now. In fact, real story, as I'm packing up the year, I had stumbled over some files from 4 years ago. There was a student who at that time was in the first grade. Yeah, first grade. And I remember the teacher saying a lot about how that student was a problem. Well, when you fast forwarded, I showed those files to a couple of people, and they were like, is this so-and-so? I'm like, yeah, the same one that just graduated last week, 3 and 4 years ago, wasn't regarded very highly.
Wow.
Student had 2 honors in terms of their the awards that students vote for each other, most outstanding, the superlatives, all of that. He had 2 different awards, and both of them were in leadership. Well, if you rewind just a couple of years ago, that wasn't the script that anybody had from him. Where would he be if people would have given up?
Wow.
I put myself in that situation. If it wasn't for Miss Lepisto, if it wasn't for John M. Rowe, if it wasn't for Clarence Price and Ernie Jones, if it wasn't for those people and more, I would have to wonder where I am. Where would I be? I'm saying to every educator, to every principal, that just as with students, I believe this, there's greatness within you. And we are at the cusp that by your persistence in your implementation in things that actually solve the engagement dilemma that we're in.
Yeah.
As you solve that, you're going to be at the peak of our industry. People are going to ask you, how are you succeeding at this? I believe that anyone that has made it to the office or the seat, the responsibility of an administrator, a building leader, even academic coach, you've got the goods to do some great things. And the challenge remains, what are you going to do with it? Is there not a cause?
Wow. Man, you start naming those individuals, man. And I went home a couple years ago in my 40s. I went to our local grocery store. It's a little old lady. As I walked in, she stopped me and said, "Terrell." And I looked, and it was Miss Schrader, my first grade teacher.
First grade? No way. Yeah, man, that's what's up.
My first grade teacher. I get emotional even thinking about it now. I couldn't tell you one lesson from first grade. I remember I took a picture with the little construction paper hat, and I was
the dunce hat or something. Push the construction paper hat. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
It was some craft or something, but I remember her. And over 40, almost 40 years later, she remembered my name.
It wasn't your hair, your hairstyle. You got gray. You didn't even have facial hair. There was. So what is it that a teacher sees in us? It's not our hair. It's not our deep voice. Our body image changes. Our hair changes. But there's something that a great teacher recognizes in a student. They say, there's greatness within you. And when that voice of greatness calls, Terrell, you've got to answer that call. And so whatever intangible it was, she saw it in the grocery store next to the cabbage and in the produce aisle. Man, it's real to be able to see the magic in a kid's eyes.
Yes.
But we've got to be at our best to water that plant so that they have a chance to be what they have the potential to be.
Listen, I don't know where you all are at in your lives, but I know if you are listening at this, you are in a God intersection, and this is something of a conversation that will continue.
Yes.
Man, I can't thank you enough for just the gems and the bars that you keep dropping and sharing. And it is no short of a miracle, man, that you are who you are, and you've endured, and you consciously made a choice and decision to live out your life in the way that you have done. And I am confident that there are men and women, boys and girls who are better in their life because of the choice of you enduring and accepting the call. So I want to go through this fast lightning round as we're ending up, man. You shared a whole lot with us tonight, and this won't be the last, but we are starting the summer off well with this amazing individual right here. Another huge shout out to Mr. Christopher Todd Sanders.
Right,
so we got this post lightning round. You said something, you snuck it in. Did I hear you say you was a assistant basketball coach?
Yeah, man, that's what they call me, man.
Now look, you see, now you I don't know. I think I may have seen some old pictures of you with an AC Green, like a little.
That was me.
Little Jerry.
There's only two Polaroids that are left in all of eternity, and I cherish them because nobody believes that. Yeah, man, I played a little bit. And
okay, so you were a student athlete. So give us a little bit. What was your top two sports that you participated in?
Oh, so even though I love basketball, I
ain't never seen you take a jump shot, by the way, but I digress.
Oh, don't worry. Well, but you know what, man? The my number is hot. Back in the day, I used to be in class and I would pause right in the middle of a lab and then act like Chauncey Billups was. Hold on. Hold on. Hey, man, let me call you back. I'll see you at the game tonight. And some of the kids, this was when they had enough they had enough faith in me that they thought I was serious, and then other kids started, cracking the code like, man, his phone ain't even on. But no, I played basketball just for enjoyment. But in high school, I played football for 4 years.
Wow.
And then in track and field for 4 years as well. And
football, what position?
I played running back and defensive back.
Get out of here. Okay, track.
Those are asterisks though, man, because one coach, Dennis Black, may rest in peace. His nickname for me was Peanut Brittle because I'd had so many injuries to both knees, both shoulders.
Peanut Brittle.
Yeah, man.
They called you Peanut Brittle?
He did. I would get into fights if anybody else called me that. But, every time something, this boy's a bag of peanut brittle,
Man, that's strong.
So I just didn't have the weight, the size, but I did do well in track and field, 3-time All-State in the state of Ohio.
Wow.
Junior and senior year. And then I ran track and field in college and made it to the national championships twice. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Y'all better act like y'all know. Oh, my goodness.
Darn well better. That's right. Okay. I don't look like it now, but I did have an athletic day.
Okay, then. Favorite cereal growing up?
Captain Crunch.
Come on now. Yes, sir. Captain Crunch. Yeah. Okay.
Preferred Crunch Berry.
Looky here.
Crunch Berry.
Okay. Now they got all Crunch Berries now.
Yeah, they got the Oops brand, but they ain't had that back then though.
Yeah, nah.
Man, 70s and 80s, it was just.
Yeah, you got maybe like 13.
That's right.
The whole box.
It was like 9. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exactly how. Because your bowl of cereal may have just been Captain Crunch. It may not have been Crunch Berry. or it may have been just one Crunch Berry. Yeah, I got a bowl of Crunch Berry. That was it. But that was back in the day, man.
Okay. So you're a husband, you're a father, you're an author. If you could, and I know this is a loaded question right here, but I trust you. You can do it in like 10, 20 seconds. What's the best lesson you learned as a husband?
So I've learned to be open-minded. My wife I've learned from her that there's space to, I had to be in a posture of being willing to learn from her. And, a woman with an MBA, when she worked at Ford Motor Company and GMAC, she was over multi-million-dollar budgets.
Wow.
So she has something to say when it comes to finances, goals, those types of things, and how we rear our children. So being open has been a lifelong lesson with her that has been applicable in other aspects of life too, being open and open-minded. Yeah.
Okay. I know this is going to be tough. Give us, what's your favorite dad moment? You as dad, what's your favorite dad moment? One that you can think of. What's the first thing that pops in your mind?
The first thing that pops in my mind was a scenario where I was at church serving, and the church I went to was a pretty large congregation. And back then, I won't tell you my cell phone carrier, but in the building, I couldn't get the signal, That's another day. Other day, Terrell. Well, some guys that rushed to me as I was serving as an usher said, "Hey, man, you need to come with us." We met with Bill, who was over all of the ushers, and told me that my wife had gotten in contact with some key people on our team to get back home and get to the emergency room. My daughter had some type of toxic liquid that was under the sink. My wife was using it, and it splashed on her in her eye. And so I remember, man, driving down 696, down 270. Man, I'm floating down 275. I got there, and they told me that my daughter wouldn't open her eye. And as I'm coming in, she hears my voice, and I said, "Hey, I need you to open your eyes so they can flush your eyes." And she opened her eyes immediately. Afterwards, my wife and the doctor said we could not get her to open her eyes. And it just made me realize the man, I'm almost getting emotional here. The impact, how my daughter completely changed, knowing that I was in the room, and we were grateful. She opened her eyes, they flushed her eye out, no damage or whatever. So that dad moment, it wasn't like a and the award goes to Christopher Sanders II or Chicago. It wasn't that where I would have my chest out. It was more so memorable because of the realization of how important I am in their lives. And I just realized, man, one false move and I could, mess this relationship up. So it inspired me with being faithful to my wife. I don't want to grow up and my daughter thinking, man, you went out on mom. Nah, I'm going to be faithful to my wife and children. And we could go on and on that discussion too. But I think that was the first moment that by far that I thought of.
Yeah. Wow. Man, that is fitting. That just speaks to who you are. And again, we are honored that you would just spend some time here with us and share your heart, share your experiences, share your wisdom and your knowledge. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all thinking, look, I got him here right now while he's on our gravitational pull, but there is a rise that's coming with this amazing individual. And so if you all are seeing this, make sure, hey man, tell the people that's going to be watching this and seeing this, how can they get in contact with you? What should they start doing? How can they follow you? What give us some connection right here, because I know they're going to be hounding me and they're like, yo, Coach Young, we seen Mr. Sanders, we need to get him. So talk to him, man. We got 13 seconds. Tell them how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, the way the world now is social media. So the two that the team has chosen is LinkedIn. So you can follow me by finding me Christopher T. Sanders on LinkedIn. And then you can also follow me on Instagram, CTS_consults. CTS_consults. Yeah. IG handle. And we're doing it, man. The success that was passed to me when I was younger, I just feel compelled to share and transfer some of the knowledge and experience that I've gained to another generation. I'll be glad to do it. And I'm enjoying getting on the road, working with students, working with administrators in my hometown. And I got a couple appointments with Detroit schools coming up. So hit me up, follow your brother, and you'll be able to see where we're located, where we're going to be in the next few days, few weeks. And I'd love to meet you all when I see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, put your hands together for my homeboy, my big bro, Mr. Christopher Todd Sanders.
Yeah, go blue, University of Michigan, go blue, yeah, baby.
His mic is going out, or at least it should be.
I had to get it in there, man. Much love, man. I appreciate you, what you're doing, and let's stay connected.
Absolutely.
As we always do, but let's stay connected this way publicly so that people can hear the conversations that we've had privately.
Yeah.
Have them publicly. And my belief is, man, that we'll get a chance to pass on to people the little things that God has blessed us with, and hopefully it can enhance their lives.
Wow, man, we appreciate you again so much again. Right. This has been our summer series of the Young Intellects podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you so much. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.
Right. We out.